It's 3 o'clock Eastern Time. How's it going out there? My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jerry Bear. This is the Sunday video update, the first Sunday in November. Today's date is Sunday, November 6th, 2022. Dad usually joins me off camera over here, but he's outside right now fixing his truck, and I'll get to that in a minute. And Amy is over here off camera on this couch. You can hear the phone dinging. That's all right. What a week we've had. Uh, Interesting, kind of. I don't know, Amy. It was quite the interesting week, wasn't it? She's not saying anything. Uh, it was an interesting week. So we of course had to pay bills last week, and the first of the month had to go and pay my bills. On Wednesday, which was the second, she had to be down in Ann Arbor, and the the drive there wasn't bad, but getting into Ann Arbor was a rat race, an absolute rat race. And yeah, trying to find somewhere to park and going down the one-way streets, and the people are just absolutely obnoxiously fucking rude. And Amy had an appointment to have her teeth pulled. She got all her teeth pulled, and she's still recovering from that. Um, her mouth is, as she says, her mouth is really sore, which it's going to be for a while. Still healing, but that was an interesting day to say the least. And then was it the next day, or the was it on Friday? The deer incident. That was on Thursday or Friday. Anyway, it was last week. So for for some reason, um, Dad decided to tie one on, and he went overboard with fireball shots of fireball, and he was sloshed. Well, he ended up passing out on the couch over here, and it was late. I was just, gonna get ready for bed. I was on the computer. I was just gonna go to bed, and then we get a knock on the door, and lo and behold, it's someone that we know by the name of Johnny Rogers. He ran out of gas down the road, just down here by the bridge, and he wanted to know if we had some gas he could get from us, or if he could, borrow a couple bucks. And I told Dad, I said, "Well, you have been drinking, and I really don't want you to drive, so I'll drive." And so he gave me the keys, and he rode with me because, although I'm a licensed driver, he's a license. We're all licensed drivers, but I told Dad I would be your designated driver because you're too fucked up to drive. So he sat in the passenger seat. Johnny was in the back, and the deer were on the move that night. Well, I took Johnny up to the gas station so he could put some gas in his gas can, and then the remainder of whatever was left. I think they spent like $10, or Dad or somebody got $10. I think Johnny had $10. I don't remember, but anyway, the remaining few dollars of gas went in Dad's truck. Well, I come up to our road because we were going to bring Johnny back here, and I wasn't going very fast. I was going really slow, like 20, 25 miles an hour, because I knew the deer were on the move. We almost hit deer on M57 on the, just before we got up to our road. And out of nowhere comes this big 8-point buck. Bam! I didn't have time to stop. Didn't even have time to react, quick enough to hit the brake. It was just, he was right there, and bam! And I saw him fly. It spun him around, and pieces of the truck went flying everywhere. The front fender, the headlight assembly was smashed out, and the deer died instantly. I had to call Saginaw County Central Dispatch to report the accident, and I had to give them my information because I was the one driving, although it was Dad's truck. And so we tried to load the deer in the back of the truck. He was heavy. He was a monstrous deer. Dad and I alone, the two of us, could not pick him up. He was really super heavy. And for some reason, my dad decided to call my brother. I don't know why. And then The next thing I know, my brother's saying I'm a pussy because I can't lift a heavy deer. Well, you know what? Fuck you. Uh, I don't care. I tried to lift the deer, couldn't get it into the tailgate. Dad couldn't lift them. And we we had to do it the old-fashioned way. We tied a rope around the antler and tied a rope on underneath of the tailgate on the trailer hitch or whatever. And slowly I had to drag him home because he was just right down here. And Dad sat on the tailgate of the truck, and I had to carefully, slowly drag him back to the house. And that's how we got him home. And then my ignoramus, idiotic fucking brother comes out here shooting off at his mouth, and I got to listen to him shouting shit through the window because I wouldn't go outside to help. Well, I'm sorry, but it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not the one who called you. I'm in bed sleeping. And he got mad because I wouldn't go out there and help. He was, "Man, you should come out here and help us, dude." I don't care. I don't care. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. Why? I actually did end up falling asleep. But I'm not going to be disrespected like that, family or not. Fuck off. Don't come out here being an asshole and running your mouth to me because I'm not going to put up with it. But anyway, it was an adventurous night to say the least. And so, yeah, Dad's outside fixing the truck. And I know someone's going to send this video to my brother. See, he's saying fuck you and all that. Yeah, I am. And so what? I'm not going to be disrespected. I'm very intolerant of big mouth people. So, oh well. But Dad's outside fixing the truck right now. He's trying to get the headlight assembly fixed. And matter of fact, before I went live here, I rode out to Layton Corners with Dad because he had to get a couple of new headlights or light bulbs, I should say. Then we had to stop at Dollar General to get some pop, and we actually saw a couple people up at Dollar General. A friend of mine named Olivia and another friend named Kelly. And Kelly, her kitty cat was just hit by a car recently, and she had to have him put to sleep, and she's having such a hard time dealing with that. And we saw her today and we talked about it, and she wanted to cry, because she was telling us when they took the cat to the vet, the cat, because he was all broken up inside. He was internally, you know, he was injured internally, and there was nothing that she could do. And so they went inside of they were in the vet, of course, and the cat looked up at her and just started purring. And her husband, he's like, "Oh my God, he's purring." It's, like, "I'm hurt, mama. You have to put me to sleep." So they had end up putting him to sleep. And we talked to her today, and I told her, I said, that's the hardest thing in the world is knowing that, especially when your animals are injured. Someone hits your animal. Your animal gets hit by a car. That's one thing. But when they don't have the audacity or the humanity to fucking stop, to tell somebody to say, "Hey, I'm sorry I hit your animal." No, people don't do that anymore. And I think the reason being, and Kelly made a good point, is that because people are afraid that they're going to be sued for veterinary bills. That's why they don't bother to stop anymore, which I think is sad because anytime I hit someone's dog, and I've hit a dog before, you can ask Amy, I've hit someone's dog, I've hit someone's cat. I mean, if it's a squirrel or a bunny rabbit trying to get across the road and they don't make it and I don't have time to stop, okay, tough luck. They're not domesticated animals like dogs and cats are. So, although you can domesticate a rabbit, but usually the case where if a rabbit darts out in front and I don't have time to stop, well, tough luck. Um, but if it's someone's dog or cat, yes, I like to stop and check, knock on a few doors and check to make sure if it's anyone's beloved pet, and sadly break the news to them. It's not something I enjoy doing. I don't deliberately hit animals, and I don't know if this person deliberately hit my friend Kelly's cat. I don't want to say they did or they didn't, but in any event, they could have still stopped and knocked on a few doors and said, "Hey, I'm so terribly sorry, but I didn't have time to get out of the way. Your cat was right there. I didn't have time to stop." And where she lives at, I'm not going to give away her information address, of course, but she lives in village limits. So the street that she lives on is a 25-mile-per-hour speed zone. So if they were flying, speeding, then I can understand why they didn't stop because that's a ticket for speeding. But I think the point that she was trying to make, which actually makes better sense, is the fact that most people are too afraid to stop because of the fear of, oh, they're going to sue me for the costs, the vet bills and all that stuff. Now, if you did it deliberately, yes, I could see doing that. But if it was truly an accident, then there's a chance that the person might say, "Don't worry about it. It was an accident." But I don't know. It's sad when you lose an animal. It's never easy to deal with. We've been there and done that ourselves, and it's never easy. We got Barkley and Scruffy. We got a cat named Baby Boy and another cat, I guess you could say we inherited. His name is Thunder, and I've gotten attached to Thunder, and of course, I got my dogs. I'm attached to my boys, and we got Baby Boy, although he annoys me a lot of the time, but I still love him. I still care for him and feed him, and um, oh yeah, they'll meow at me until I feed them, until they feed me. Yeah, they'll just meow incessantly until I go for the can opener. Well, actually, I don't need a can opener because most of the time they get dry food, but we've had some kitty food in the little cans. You just pop it open and set it down for them and have at it. But I am very, attached to animals, and Dad and I agreed that once all these animals are gone, we are done. We're not getting any more because it's too much. It hurts too much when they die. You love them, you grow attached to them. Yeah, we're pretty much done with animals. Even if I live by myself, I don't think I'd want a dog or a cat. Just to live by myself and not worry about that because, get attached to it and yeah. But if you want the dog, you have to take on the responsibility of caring for it. Because wasn't Scruffy supposed to be your dog or Barkley? Well, either way, I mean, I'm not saying you never do, but it's mostly Dad and I, because for some he clings to us. Barkley is very clingy to. I think he's a man's dog, honestly. I like Scruffy. He's a pain in the butt sometimes, but he's a good little dog. And he's got one hell of a screeching bark. I don't even, it's almost to the point where I didn't even want to call it a bark. It's more like a shout, like a, "Ow," like really loud. And it echoes in this house, if you can believe that. Um, but yeah, so, there was that going on. My friend lost her pet tragically. Ann Arbor, I talk about that for a little bit because it's Ann Arbor is a beautiful city, and I'll give them that. I've been to downtown Ann Arbor. It's beautiful downtown, but everything is so close together. And when you get over by University Hospital, the U of M hospital, you got the one-way streets. And when you actually do find a place where you think you can park, as it turns out, you can't park there, or it's restricted parking between the hours of X and Y. And if you do find a place to park, you gotta pay. And it's like there's no fucking winning in this town. There's no winning at all. And I was talking to a guy when Amy was in the back and Dad and I were sitting in the lobby, and there was this guy who um was waiting to be called back, and we were talking about Ann Arbor because I think he lived in Ann Arbor. He lived in the city, and he says, "I hate this fucking place." And I asked him, I said, "Well, what is it about the city that you don't like?" He says, "Everything you just mentioned, the rude ass people, the traffic, the parking." He says, "It's a shit show down here." He says, "I hate Ann Arbor." And I'm thinking to myself, so then move away, move out of town, get a place out in the country. Washtenaw County is a big enough county. There's lots of, property. in Washtenaw County, but I don't know. I didn't say it. I didn't say, well, then move if you don't like it, because there's a lot about Chesaning that I don't like, especially the people, most of the people. But I choose to live in the neighborhood because I grew up in Chesaning. It's my hometown. Um, but the people around here will never change. No matter what you do, they'll never change, and they have a chip on their shoulder. But I do have friends, people I talk to. I have relatives in Chesaning. They're not all bad, but some of them have a stick up their ass about things, and it's like, well, it's not the end of the world. Got to get over yourself. But yeah, so Ann Arbor, getting out of there was a son of a bitch. I mean, I knew once I got onto, I'm trying to think, because we were on Fletcher Street and we were supposed to go. Okay, so I had to turn on to, I think it's Huron Street. So I had to hang a right. And then when I came up to Glen Avenue, I had to hang a left, come up to Depot Street, or Fuller. No, it's Depot. Or is it Fuller? Yeah, it's Fuller Street. Then I had to hang another left, and then it turns into Depot Street. That's what it is. And then Depot comes back out to Main, and then Main Street takes you back out to M14, eventually US 23. So Ann Arbor's like a zigzag, and it's a great big circle, and the streets aren't, I mean, you get lost in that clusterfuck of a mess. I mean, they got that all screwed up down there in Ann Arbor. Columbus, Ohio is another place I heard that is a total and complete clusterfuck trying to drive through because of all the streets going in opposite directions, and there's too many highways going in and out of the city, and that's very confusing. Now, the directions, like north, south, east, and west, I'm pretty good at north, south, east, and west, but the other, like where you got to make a sharp turn here and then cut off over here, it can get confusing and a bit frustrating, especially if you don't have enough time, and it could potentially be dangerous. Just driving, it's not so much, like the bad neighborhoods or whatever, but the driving alone could be dangerous because, like I said, you may not have enough time to do a quick jog, and I don't know. It's really strange how they constructed and blueprinted these cities. It's like you had a good idea set in place, but then you wanted to squeeze in all these other little streets, and it just makes it that much more of a headache to try to get in and out. But we were happy to get the fuck out of Ann Arbor, weren't we, Amy? Dad's like, let's get the.
I remember coming out of the dentist. I remember having a lady, holler at us because
Right.
we went through the sign.
Right.
And then
yeah,
that was it. I don't remember nothing else.
And what Amy's talking about, I went through the sign, is they've got these stop signs in the middle of the street for the crosswalk. And it's a yellow stick with a stop sign on it. And I guess I didn't see it. And I didn't hit anybody, thank God. But someone who was crossing the street, and I wasn't the only one. I was not the only one. There were other cars ahead of me. They went through and didn't stop because they just didn't see it. They weren't thinking to look for a stop sign in the middle of the fucking street. But someone was shouting at me, "You're supposed to stop right there." And it's like, whatever, I was already through the crosswalk, and it's like, whatever. I think that's stupid. They got those in Flint too. They got them in Flint where you have to stop in the middle of the fucking street because there's a crosswalk. It's kind of a stupid place to put a stop sign, but I get it. It's even more dumb to put a crosswalk in the middle of the fucking street. I mean, I guess it's convenient, so you don't have to walk all the way down to the corner to use the actual sidewalk and then to walk all the way back. But at the same time, it's like, holy shit, They even have stoplights, like the red, yellow, green lights for pedestrians and cars. I know they do that in Frankenmuth. There at Zenders, there's a stoplight there, like right in the middle of because it's so compacted in there, there's a lot of street walkers and window shoppers, and they got the light there for the pedestrians and the traffic. So when that light's red, you have to stop. You got to let the pedestrians cross. And then, of course, when the light's green, you can go, and then they have to stop because their light will be red. It's really weird over there. It's really weird. But it's an honest mistake. I don't deliberately blow stop signs because usually I'm looking for a fucking octagon. I'm not looking for a yellow stick in the middle of the street that says stop for the crosswalk. Showboat Park has one of those too, Amy. Did you know that? I blew that one a couple times because I'm not thinking to look for a yellow stick.
No.
I mean, when I read the book, the book, you get from the DMV, the Secretary of State's, it doesn't say one damn thing in there. It might now, but it doesn't say, and that didn't say one damn thing in there about looking for a yellow stick that says stop for a crosswalk.
Right.
It doesn't say anything in there. Like I said, now it might. I would actually have to get an updated handbook because I'm pretty sure they've printed that, because they've definitely made some changes. Like they've got the flashing yellow arrows on the traffic signals now. And so, yeah, the next time I make it to St. Charles, I'll have to go into the Secretary of State's office and get an updated booklet to, find out what's going on with that, because there have been some, and it's not deliberate. It's not like anybody's purposely running red lights or running stop signs. Speaking of Dad, there he is.
Hey.
I was just telling the people here about how fucking lousy Ann Arbor is.
Oh, yeah.
It's awful. How's that headlight coming?
I got it.
You got it? Because he had to buy some zip ties. We went to M57 Surplus on the other end of Chesaning, and he had to get some zip tie.
Bulb.
What's that?
Never needed that bulb.
No.
Well, I put it in anyway.
He's barking to get in. So, we didn't get zip ties at 57 Surplus, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, you did get them.
Yeah. 100 of them for $7.
Well, that's not bad. 100 of them. But
How can I use them?
yeah, we have other purposes. Hi, Barkley. So last week was a busy week. I've been to Bronner's a few times. Yeah, so I had some more personalized Christmas bulbs made for some friends of mine, and
I gotta get some for you. Open it again.
that bag. But I've been to Bronner's a few times. I went to visit with my mom last week on the 1st after I went and paid bills, and that was a nice visit. It was a nice drive too, because I went from here to Chesaning to get my money. Then I went to the post office to get money orders. Then I went to Owasso to pay my cell phone bill. Then I went to Frankenmuth to Bronner's to get some bulbs and have them personalized. Then from there, from Frankenmuth, had driven up to where my mom lives, up by Wademan on the other side of Mount Pleasant. That was a nice drive. Then I came down through Mount Pleasant and Ithaca to get gas, and then back home. So I made a big circle around the Lower Peninsula. Fucking barking again out there.
I already done. We're about to have cat.
It gets annoying. This has been happening for the last month, if not longer. These dogs have got to go. So he needs to figure out what he's going to do with them, because I'm sick of him being here. I love dogs, but these ones aren't ours. They got to go. But yeah, so it's been a busy week. Yeah, I've been doing a lot. Been running here, running there. Dad mentioned something about going out to Billy's tomorrow night. I don't know if that's what our plans are for tomorrow. Things might change, so I don't want to say where I'm going to be if I'm not going to be there. But yeah, we had a major windstorm last night, and I thought we were going to lose power because the lights did flicker a couple times. But luckily we didn't lose any power. There were I'd say there are over a couple thousand power outages, about 2,200 power outages. And yeah, and there was some wind damage. Dad was, shut up. Dad was pointing out there was some wind damage near Hemlock on M46, near Fordney Road. For those of you familiar with M46 and Fordney Road, that would be, is it Richland Town? I think it's Richland Township right there. The wind, big gust of wind came along, knocked down some power poles, and some tree branches were down. And I think they had to close M46 for a while until they got that mess cleaned up. I would imagine they did. They were telling people to avoid the area. And yeah, so we had one hell of a windstorm. But the thing is, it's November, and by late November, early December, we start to get our first accumulating snow. And so when we get the windstorm, that's just nature taking care of business. It's nature, the wind blowing the leaves off the trees so the trees will get bare for the winter. And so that's usually how it goes. Nature knows best, as I always say. But it's going to look beautiful. We get our first actual accumulating snow. We got our first fall snow, and everything, the landscapes are all white and they're sparkly when the sun shines on the ground in the mornings. It's beautiful. But yeah, so we didn't lose power here, fortunately. Thank goodness for that. But there were, like I said, there were about 21 or 2,200 power outages, over 110,000 people affected. So hopefully, by what I understand, either by tonight or tomorrow, sometime early in the morning, they will have power 100% restored. At least one can only hope. Well, there were some other things I'm sure I want to talk about, but it's slipping my mind. As usual, I keep telling myself I have to write down the things I want to talk about, and I never do because I'm too busy and I never find the time to do it. But yeah, so of course I'm still on Facebook. I'm still, talking with friends and chatting and, keeping in touch with all my friends. And if not on Facebook, it's usually an email or text message or whatever the case may be. So I'm shocked at my return to Facebook. It actually hasn't been as bad as I would have guessed or projected it to be, it's a good thing. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I block all the people who've given me trouble over the years. I just block them and be done with them. And of course, my account is private, so you can't find my Facebook profile outside of Facebook. You can do a Google search. You're not going to find it. You might find this YouTube channel, but you're not going to find my social media. The only way you're going to do that is if you follow the links from this channel to get to my Facebook. And even still, you have to be signed into your Facebook to send me a friend request. And by the way, the chat logs are open here. So if you come in, behave yourselves, govern yourselves accordingly with the words you say. Otherwise, I will boot your sorry ass back to the hellhole you came from.
Oh man, I better be careful.
Oh man, what?
I said I better be careful then.
For what?
You just said you'll be booted if you don't talk proper.
In the chat log, yeah.
Chat log. I says, I guess that don't mean I can answer anything.
Well, you're not in the chat log, are you?
No, sometimes I am.
Well, you should pop in to say hi if you're able to. The chat logs are open.
Sometimes I like if I'm out in the camper, I'll watch out there.
Oh, so you just like watching? You don't like to be in the newsroom. You just like to watch it from the TV. If you want to call this a newsroom, it's hardly it's just my desk where I sit, and it's cluttered with a bunch of different shit. But no, I don't have. That's why I decided to open the chat logs though, because I want to give people a chance to interact. If they, if they don't have Facebook, I want them to be able to come and say hi or whatever. That's why I leave the chat logs open. But because I take the fun out of the trolls coming in and acting rambunctious and obnoxious and cowardly, I don't get that anymore, which is a good thing. I don't need to deal with that. But the people who actually want to come in and have a conversation and they want to say hello,
More than welcome.
come on in. Hey, let's talk. Let's have a conversation.
I think Mama gonna put her Halloween bib on.
Halloween bib?
Yeah. You ain't seen it yet, have you?
Yeah, I've seen it. You were wearing it. You showed it to me.
Yeah.
On Halloween, oh yeah, how can I forget to talk about Halloween? Halloween was different this year. My friend Janice has her own business in town. And in one of my Sunday video updates, it's been a while, but in one of my Sunday video updates, I actually mentioned a young man named Arlos, and he was talking about edibles when we were at the dentist's office in Corona because Dad had an appointment, and we met Janice and her son Arlos. Well, on Halloween, I was actually up at Janice's business in Chesaning, and her son Arlos was passing out candy. I went up there. I said, well, it's been a while. I'm not sure if you remember who I am. And we were talking and laughing, giggling, having a good time. It was, it was just me and Janice and Arlos, but we were having such a great time. And I stuck around for a little while, and then I decided to come home. He gave me candy. Arlos gave me candy. He gave me a couple of, or no, I'm sorry. He gave me a baggie of gummy bears. And then Janice stuck Reese's peanut butter cups in my other pocket. And it's like, well, I don't, this is for the kids. She says, I just spent $130 in candy. Take as much as you want. And she did. She spent $130 in candy. I believe it. Candy's not cheap anymore. Just like everything else. It used to be fun.
Yeah, I remember when you used to go into Dollar General and buy a big bag of candy for $5. Now you're looking at $6, $7.
Yeah, I remember going to Marion Springs General Store and getting the penny candies, the little Tootsie Rolls and the taffies for like a penny. And those days are gone. Yeah. Yeah. Used to be a store called Kobobby's, or however you say that. I don't know how you'd even spell that. But yeah, I mean, everything's gone up, but it was still nice to hang out with a friend and her son. And I was shocked that he would, he actually remembered saying that to me in the dentist's office. But the thing is, at the time we were wearing masks, so we could only see each other's eyes and not the whole face. And well, it wasn't that, it's just, we couldn't see the whole face. But now this time we could see each other's face. And he's like, oh yeah, I remember talking about that, and he was in his Halloween costume. I don't even know what it was, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, Janice. I don't know what Arlos was supposed to be, but he was in a getup, and he was passing out candy, and he had like a long leather black beak on his mask, and he's out on the sidewalk dancing. And I said, there you go, shake your moneymaker. And he turned around, and yeah, it was fun. And I said, shake your moneymaker. And he turned around and says, you get out here and shake your moneymaker. I said, oh no, we don't want to make the trick-or-treaters run away. We want to attract them to come and get candy. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Halloween, it was different because usually it used to be when my cousins lived in Chesaning, when Heidi and Elwood lived in town, I would go walking through Chesaning with them as they took their kids out trick-or-treating. But now they live in Gladwin County, so that's quite a ways to go to go to their house. Yeah, I don't think they went trick-or-treating either. But it's quite a drive from here to there just to walk around whatever town. The last time I went trick-or-treating with them, we walked around the town of Pinconning, Michigan. And it was nice. It was different. It wasn't Chesaning, but it was nice. We walked through the high school, and they turned the hallways of the high school into like a spook house or like a haunted, get up. Well, they didn't have strobe lights, but we were standing in line. And I remember when I turned around like this, there was a whole family of Ghostbusters. and the mom and dad were in Ghostbusters costumes. The kids were in Ghostbuster costumes. And this was, I don't know, a few years ago, back in 2018 or 2019. It was before all this pandemic shit happened. It was, but it was pretty cool. Or pre-COVID, I'm sorry, not post-COVID, pre-COVID. It was a lot of fun. Halloween, like Dad said, is just not the same as it used to be.
Do people used to turn the lights on and put spooky
Yeah.
things in the
And
yard, they used to hand out candy?
now,
Now there's nobody turns the lights on because nobody hands out candy
And-
because of everything going on.
well, with that too, and it's not just the expense of the candy, the cost of the candy, but people are putting fentanyl in the candy supply.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing now, why parents are too afraid to go and, take their kids out trick-or-treating, because they're afraid of the dangers that lurk. There's always been dangers with trick-or-treating. It's just that when we were kids, we never worried about people putting fentanyl in our Skittles,
Ours was usually razor blade.
Yeah, like putting razor blades on the apples, or tampering with, if the wrappers are tampered with on the candy, throw it out.
Picking them up, picking kids up. You know,
Yeah,
we had that problem
yeah.
back in the day.
It was even with
Shoot everybody.
even with caramel apples. I remember my mom actually cutting she took I don't know how she did it, but she took the caramel apple off the fucking stick. I don't know how she did it, but I think I know. I think she cut the apple right at the stem, right where the bottom of the apple, and then she cut the apple, and then she was, but it's really, it's Halloween, for Christ's sake.
Sad when a kid can't even enjoy himself.
I mean, when we these kind of dangers lurk, you can't let fear control your life, but you also can't let your guard down, and that can be a very difficult balancing act, especially when, okay, these are my kids and it's my job to protect my children and ensure their safety, but at the same time, I don't want to keep them from having fun. So there's a balancing act going on. But in any event, it's one of those things where you just got to be careful, and you have to pick and choose. You have to make decisions based on repeated patterns. And we hear about this all the time, where children are constantly in danger of whatever the fuck is going on in the world. And it's sad and it's sick. And
I just think the younger kids really don't even know what they're talking about yet.
well, and they
like Lily's age and that,
Yeah. Like the TikTok. Now we're in the generation of TikTok, which I don't have TikTok. I think it's bullshit.
I don't have it. I used to.
My brother Wayne asked me, he says, well, do you have TikTok, don't you? No. What the fuck am I going to do with TikTok? That's more like for teenage kids, I think, in my opinion. That's more of a kid thing. And even still, that's a danger. That's a threat. Because I know lots of parents who will refuse to allow their kids to have TikTok because of the bullshit on there. I never got lost in the Snapchat or Instagram or TikTok or anything like that. I had Twitter. That's gone, because that's bullshit. And I heard it just got even worse, because now Elon Musk owns Twitter, and there's been some layoffs at Twitter. But I'm usually on YouTube and Facebook. So those are the only two platforms I use. Basically, the only social media that I use is Facebook, although I swore I'd never go back to it again, but here we are. I'm back on fucking Facebook again.
But you watch yourself.
Yeah. And now that I'm back on Facebook, much in the same, I don't fuck what anybody says on Facebook. I had to block somebody because trying to pry into my personal life between me and my girlfriend, and they were asking a lot of questions and being inquisitive, and there wasn't anything I was prepared to answer, and the answers I gave this person weren't to their standards, wasn't to their satisfaction. And then when they finally got fed up with me stonewalling them, called me an asshole, and I told them to fuck off, and I blocked them. Now I just don't care, and it's actually liberating to not give a fuck. I enjoy it. and people, you know, they probably raise a stink about me saying the fuck word on occasion. Well, too fucking bad,
Fuck it,
you know.
fuck it.
It's your channel. If they don't like it, they
Even
leave.
even on Facebook, I say the word fuck on occasion. People don't like it, but
Like I said,
they know where the unfriend button is.
if they don't like it, they know where to run.
Yeah.
Should have heard our friend today.
Which one?
Oh,
Kelly? I told Amy about,
she was talking fucking got so goddamn
well,
so fucking much to,
yeah.
you know, for
But I'm talking about on Facebook. You know, they people are they cringe at the word fuck. And these are, it's like, don't clutch your fucking pearls over the word fuck. It's hardly an awful word depending on the context of which it's used. It's an exclamation point. It's a way of, you know, like, I don't give a fuck, or I don't give a shit, or fuck this, fuck that. That's an exclamation point. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of religious people on Facebook, and this is kind of what bothers me the most is, and it's not to put anybody, I'm not directing this to any one specific individual, because I have lots of religious people on my Facebook, on my friends list. So I'm not degrading one person. I'm just saying that it's a wonder that they haven't found out yet, or it's a wonder that they haven't discovered that I don't say things like, I'll pray for you, praise Jesus, or praise Jeebus, or whatever. But I don't say God's name in vain, which, Jesus fucking Christ, I'll say that all day long. But it's a wonder that they haven't caught on yet that I'm an atheist, that I don't post Bible scriptures. I don't talk about the hidden divineness, or the miracle of God. I don't talk about these things on Facebook. I don't even talk about them here, because it's bullshit. Now, we kind of live in a house divided under this roof, because I'm an atheist. Amy, I think, believes in God. I think she has a belief in God. Dad, I'm not sure yet.
No, I
Um,
don't.
because we live in a house divided. She doesn't push her Jesus whatever on me, and I don't push my your God is an asshole on her.
My religion.
Yeah, I don't. We don't go back and forth. We don't debate each other. She believes what she wants. I go by what what I think is the truth. But we're not nagging at each other. We're not, like, I don't want to hear about, don't pray for me, and, or whatever. It's nothing like that. We kind of go our own separate ways on that. But now, if she had her own YouTube channel, she could say whatever the fuck she wanted. She could say, well, I'll pray for you, or praise Jesus, or whatever. Whatever. It's your YouTube channel, which, by the way, she does not have a YouTube channel yet. And I've been trying to talk her into getting one set up, but I'm not sure she'd know what to do.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Posted. Whoops.
Who are we talking about now?
Rico.
M-
I'll put you in a second.
Okay. Well, you're blocking my light.
Right here.
What now? Come on. Let me see it.
Rico.
Where do you go if you have matching Powerball numbers asking for a friend? I think he's joking.
I wonder.
You can't believe everything you read on Facebook, Dad. It doesn't matter. You can't believe everything you read on Facebook. How many times do we have to go over this? You don't believe everything you read on social fucking media. You don't.
They still don't have sewer out Main Springs, Jared.
Okay. So switch the subject very quickly.
Normal.
But now he's telling people to shut up. Shut the fuck up, Amy.
Took you long enough to say it.
But, people have their own, like, if anybody on Facebook, on my friends list watching this, if you believe in God, I don't care. I couldn't care less. But just don't try drilling it into me. Don't try to hammer into me your beliefs, because I'm going to call you out on it. I don't believe and stuff like that. Like I had a friend who, she was going to send her kid to a Christian school or whatever, or something like that anyway. And she says, well, I know, Jared, I know you wouldn't approve. Well, it's not up to me. They're not my kids, you know? And I kind of had to push back a little bit. And I said, well, they're not my kids, so it doesn't affect me either way. The only time I would ever actually have a problem, like I said, is if somebody's trying to hammer their God loves you bullshit into me, because it doesn't work. Yeah. And I found out just recently, I was up at the back 40. I said I'd never go back there, but all of the rude, obnoxious, snarky, bitchy ass people are gone. So Amy, thank your God for that one. But a friend of mine I went to school with. A friend of mine I went to school with. I've known her for a very long time, and she's an atheist. And I was kind of joking around with her when we were sitting out in the smoking area. Dad and I were, and they got a TV out in the smoking area, usually at sports. And I told her, I said, yeah, we're watching Peter Popoff. And she says, who? I said, Peter Popoff, you know, that Christian that guy that cons people out of money, and he has all these miracles, and he's a fucking scam artist. And I told her, I said, well, maybe one day we should sit down and watch TCT together. She says, what's TCT? I said, it's the church channel. She says, oh, fuck no. But it was cool. It was cool. It was really awesome. Here, have some bleach. Says, hi. Well, hello. Here, have some bleach, with a Winnie the Pooh profile picture. Be nice if you're coming in here. Be nice, and that's your only warning. So be nice if you're coming in here. But I will have a conversation with you if you will be civil. But it was some of the coolest stuff I've ever heard. I will be nice with a crying face. Well, I don't know who you are. So that's just your fair warning. Just be nice and be civil, and you'll be fine. Yeah, which shocking, because for the last couple of weeks, I haven't really had anybody come into the chat logs, but evidently now seems I actually put some emphasis on the chat log this week. Now I have someone coming in saying, here, have some bleach. That's the name of their channel, which it's unique, but if you're a troll, you're gone. So the person says, I promise I will. So how has your day been? So far, so good. I'm just waiting for the next comment, because I have no idea who this is. But I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. Yeah, so I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, my friend who works at the back 40. I found out she was an atheist, and we had a few laughs, and she says, oh yeah, I went to Bible study by that what do you call that? Where, like in school, they come and get the kids from public school or whatever, and they go to the Bible study or whatever. I think it's Bible study, isn't it? Isn't it what they call that? Where they take the kids out of because they used to come in and
Yeah, it is at Sunday school.
well, no, and not Sunday school. It's during the week. During the week, when like a regular school week, they would.
Yeah, you're talking like a Catholic school.
Yeah, like a No, Dad, I'm talking about during the week. I remember this when I went to Big Rock. Yeah, I went to Big Rock back in the 90s when I was a kid, and they used to come in and get the kids to go to like a parochial, or not parochial, what's the word I'm looking for? It was just like a religious school where they went to learn about their imaginary friend. But I can't remember what it's called, though. I can't remember what it's called. Well, thank you for being a subscriber. Here, have some bleach. This is why I question. I mean, it's a unique name and I like it, but I'm very careful. And you have to understand where I'm coming from. If you come in here looking for trouble, you come to the wrong place. But I will be nice, and I will have a civilized conversation with you if you have a civilized conversation. And I do apologize for the camera going in and out of focus. I think it has to do with the lighting. But we got about 10 minutes left of the show, which is another, they come in around the last 10 minutes of the show. So I think they were just waiting for their golden moment to, come in, say something stupid and be gone. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'm making a fatal error or a mistake. Gotta give people a chance. And my chat log, yes, I'll give you a chance. Here, have some bleach. Well, I'm glad you're still here. Yeah, I'm glad you're still here. But, I put heavy emphasis on you will behave yourself. And I understand the video is lagging. It's probably my internet because I have shitty service and I don't know how to fix it. I have made several phone calls. Sorry, man, I can't hear what you're saying. Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's not me, it's my internet. The volume probably is up because they're typing in chat. I don't know. It's not on my end because my mic is on, all of my equipment's working properly. My audio interface is indicating that I'm speaking into the mic and I can actually hear myself in my speakers. So I don't know why you can't hear what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't tell you.
Sorry, I don't have it on this week, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll watch the playback and find out if they're being honest or if they're just pulling my leg. But in any event, I don't know. It's got to be on your end because everything on my end is showing that everything's working. My Wi-Fi wasn't working. That would explain it. My Wi-Fi is working. Everything on my end is working. So here, have some bleach. I know I probably shouldn't ask you this question, but where are you from? You don't have to answer that, but I'm just kind of curious. Because you're like the only person in my chat log right now. You don't have to answer that though. I don't want you to feel obligated to answer that question, but I was just kind of curious. New Mexico. Oh, okay, cool. So how did you find my channel? What was it about my channel that brought you to my channel? I'm just curious. I'm just trying to strike up conversation because I got like 7 minutes left in this program. So once I'm out ski at 4:00 Eastern because we're on the Eastern time zone here at this location. And depending on wherever you're watching from, it's of course naturally going to be different time. But because it's going on 4:00 here. So I'm just kind of curious what brought you to my channel, what was it about my channel? Maybe a video or some content that, I don't know. You look like a cool guy and I decided to just subscribe and watch your videos. Well, thank you very much. Now that's a compliment. And if you're being sincere, I appreciate that. They're not in Texas. They're in New Mexico. Now who can't hear me talking? This guy or you? Now I it's just a question. You don't know how I got here, or do you actually know me and you're just coming in under a phony name? I'll find out. There's only 5 minutes left of the show, so if you got something stupid to say, you might as well say it. But I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to be cool about it because I don't want to just be automatically accusatory of every person who comes into my chat. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But you will be nice. And I am a cool guy. I don't say that, like beating my chest like an ape. I'm cool. I actually am a decent person. And I've been treated poorly. So I do come off dickish most of the time, but I have my reasons. I've been burned one too many times on friendships and such. And so I have to be careful. My cousin changed my name. Well, you can change it back. You do know that you can edit your YouTube name. You don't have to wait a certain amount of time to change the YouTube name. You go on your channel, you just go up to where it says customize channel, and you can change the name of the channel. It doesn't have to stay like that. It's not permanent. And I know that because I'm a YouTuber. So that's how I know. And here, have some bleach. Can I ask you another question? Do you have a problem with me using the word fuck? I mean, it's irrelevant because I'm going to use the word fuck no matter what you think, but I'm just kind of curious. No, you don't have a problem with me saying the word fuck? Okay, cool. Cool. Because you probably say it more oftentimes than not, right?
Right on.
It's a free country, to some degree. Although I'm afraid for this country, and I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not going to go the political route, but there are a lot of things about this country that it's going in the shithole really quick. But I'm sure you say the word fuck quite often. So, but yeah, I am a cool guy. I am a cool guy. And most of my friends will say I'm a cool guy, but there's times when I have to be standoffish and dickish with people because I just put people in their place. If they're gonna, give me a hard time, I'm gonna push back, and that's just what I do. But if you get to know me as a person, I'm pretty cool. I don't hurt anybody. I don't start trouble. But I will push back. I will fight back. I will stand my ground, and just like anybody else, they're not going to sit and take shit from people. Why should I have to? Well, I don't. So we're getting down to the last minutes of the Sunday video update this week. I'm shocked that I had one person come up on my video here, my live stream. So I'll take it. I'll take those thumbs up. So, Dad, is there anything you want to say before we wrap this up? Because we are down to the last 2 minutes of the show.
No, just everybody be safe. Be
Uh,
careful out there. Watch for the idiot.
Everybody be safe. Be careful. Watch for this. I got 3 people watching now. And I'm just now getting ready to wrap this up. And so my number of viewers increases. Oh, I'm down to 2 again. I got 3 thumbs up on my videos. Amy, anything you want to say before we go? Seems you're here this week and I don't have to fight you to join me.
Have a good day and be safe, everybody out there.
Yeah, this has been a good Sunday video update. Last week was busy. I don't know what's in store for this week. I might add some more content. I might just kick back and relax. I don't know what's going on yet. I never make plans unless I absolutely know for sure what's going on. But it's supposed to get cold again. We're supposed to be in the mid 70s this week, like Wednesday, I think they said. Wednesday or Thursday, we're supposed to be in the 70s. And then immediately, like 2 days afterwards, it's going to drop right down to 40. We're going to be coming down sick again because of the drastic weather change. I am not looking forward to it, but I know it's coming. But anyway, guys, my name is Jared Fuller, aka Jared Bear. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will be back here next week on November 13th. Next week, before I go, next week, as a matter of fact, I might put together another video, and there'll be a new video on this channel because next week on November 16th is the 23rd anniversary of writing journals for me. I have been writing journals for 23 long years come November 16th. You guys won't be here on the 16th?
15th, I'm going to tell you now we're done.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, opening day of
Gun season.
gun season. That's right. But on
We'll pick up deer tomorrow.
November 16th, will be 23 years I've been writing journals. Yeah, thank you, Bleach. Yeah, I've been writing journals since I was 13 years old. Write about everything. I write poetry, journals. Yeah, I love to write. So that's about going to do it. We have officially reached the 4:00 mark here on the East Coast. It's been a whole hour already. That hour went by quickly. I will be back on Sunday, November 13th. Same time, 3:00 Eastern time. I hope you'll join me. Bleach, have a good day. It was nice talking with you too. And like I said, as long as you behave yourself, maintain a little decorum, we'll get along just fine. And that goes for anybody else watching this. You come into my chat log, you govern yourselves accordingly, you'll be fine. I won't have to embarrass you. So much love to all of you. Have a wonderful week and take care. Peace out.